about the intricacies of moving to this country, from various business programs to the nuances of life in England. And today we wanted to talk about the mistakes that applicants make when applying for a UK residence permit independently. Using the example of the UK's Global Talent Visa in the field of digital technologies, I will go through the main difficulties that candidates face and as a result of not quite correct solutions to these difficulties. Unfortunately, they are denied a visa, and the first thing to note is the incorrect understanding of requirements, instructions, guidelines. All visa programs have specific guides that you need to familiarize yourself with before starting to prepare your case and submit your application. And with this, many difficulties arise because usually all instructions are not voluminous enough for studying and correctly interpreting all instructions. It takes time, a fairly long period of time, to account for this. And even when you read, there is a certain misunderstanding that can lead to mistakes. For example, the Global Talent Visa guidelines include optional criteria such as recognition and contribution. Recognition means contributing to the development of the technology industry outside of work responsibilities, while contribution means exactly contributing to the development of the technology industry, but within the framework of responsibilities. And here confusion occurs, as a result of which the criteria are closed incorrectly, and this leads to a refusal of the application. I would also like to point out such a mistake as an incorrect assessment of the volume of work. After you have read the instructions, read the criteria that need to be met, of course, you need to analyze your achievements. For example, in a technological environment, understanding what evidence, what materials you can use to satisfy a particular criterion, and therefore which criteria you will choose. And further, you also need to determine how exactly you will meet a particular criterion. What materials will you provide? How will they look? How will you describe them? And here there are two sides. This is a brief description and a full description, detailed and so on. Of course, it is best to provide a detailed description of all your documents that you attach and to detail all your achievements. Within the last 5 years, if we are talking about global talent vision. And the better you describe, the fewer questions, misunderstandings, inaccuracies there will be for the supervisory authority, for the technician, and the more likely you are to get approval. And from this follows the following error. When we try to explain everything in more detail, we can exceed the allowed volume. First of all, you need to know what formal restrictions apply to each document. For example, your CV, resume should not exceed 3 A4 pages, your official statement, this motivational letter in which you tell why you want to go to Great Britain, how you will contribute to the growth of technology. When it comes to countries, the document can contain a maximum of 1,000 words. In the case of recommendation letters, they should also not exceed 3 pages, and the fourth format is also a requirement. This format includes various materials, documents, screenshots, links, and everything that confirms your role in the development of certain projects and all your achievements, providing comprehensive evidence of your contributions. If the formal requirements for a document are not fulfilled, it frequently results in the rejection of your application. The next error is technical errors caused by the application that has already been submitted. Here you need to know in what format the documents should be uploaded. For example, a personal statement can only be uploaded in doc format, all other documents in PDF format, a specific order of uploading these documents, correct and accurate answers to official questions in the form of your address, data from your passport. All information must be filled in correctly. Otherwise, it can lead to refusal or the need for additional questions to be answered. Another error is the lack of knowledge regarding the most recent changes in guidelines, the latest requirements in a specific visa program. For example, if we are talking about the Global Talent Visa, then in the guidelines of TechNation there are changes that they periodically make, and they are usually described at the end of the entire instruction. That is, there may be one text, but there are changes to the original text at the bottom. For instance, when applying for a promise track, we are limited to providing only one piece of evidence for each criterion. In the main text, no mention of it says there should be at least 2 pieces of evidence for each criterion. But if you scroll down and read the requirements to the end, you will see that for the promise track, this condition is slightly modified. To aid in independent filing for a specific visa under the England program, various channels and chats have been created. These resources can provide assistance and also help you track trends and changes related to the visa process. Therefore, when preparing, it is also advisable for you to locate such groups and chats and peruse the information that is presented in them while preparing your case, and also read in advance all the content that is gathered there. And of course, it is important to prepare in advance for all the nuances of further work on your application after receiving approval, because then comes the step of applying for a visa in adhesive, which gives you the right to enter the country's territory. And then the third step. Here is your direct move and obtaining a BRP card already in the country's territory at the post office of the city where you are moving. During these 2 steps, you will also come across different stages, such as the payment of a fee, like the payment of your medical insurance coverage, for instance. There are also certain nuances. Unfortunately, it is currently not possible to make these payments using Russian bank cards, so you also need to prepare in advance, for example, by issuing yourself a card from a foreign bank, or asking a friend to provide such a card, or finding some other way to transfer the funds to him. All this requires careful study and careful preparation. Therefore, we definitely recommend studying all the questions, reading everything, analyzing everything, preparing thoroughly, and only then starting to write cases, all the documents of your case, and then applying. Because in the event that any unforeseen questions arise during the process itself, you may not have an ample amount of time to effectively solve these questions when it is already deemed to be sufficient. Urgent. Undoubtedly, professionals, various immigration agencies, or consultants who possess comprehensive knowledge of each UK visa program with greater accuracy can also provide assistance in your case preparation, as they are experts in this field. And it is not necessarily associated with any very large financial costs. Almost all specialists have partial rates, which assume that you also work on the case in order to receive payment for your services. Most frequently, it is assumed that you write all the documents yourself, but you have assistance, the assistance of a professional who possesses all the necessary knowledge to prevent technical, first and foremost, problems. They will also most likely help you in creating a strategy for your case and writing it, controlling it so that the case turns out to be really strong and you have a high probability of approval. For example, experts know what requirements are imposed on recommenders so that the written letter is truly suitable for the case and does not raise questions for the technician. What requirements are there for your resume and what is important and needs to be reflected in it in order for this document to really show you in a strong light as experts in their field, and so on and so forth. Therefore, experts possess extensive knowledge of the requirements for each document and will be more than willing to provide assistance with any question you may have. Relacode also provides a partial rate, allowing you to write the case documents yourself, and we will subsequently finalize each document, offering assistance in composing the most robust documents for your case. Hence, if you have any inquiries, primarily you can reach out to us and obtain a complimentary consultation regarding your situation and prospects of endorsement. And of course, you can seek our help in preparing the case, up to receiving full support in writing it. I trust this video was helpful for you. Looking forward to seeing you in the upcoming videos.